Story 1. I quit sugar and significantly scaled back on carbohydrates. For me, the biggest thing is not having cravings or energy crashes distracting me throughout the day. It's very liberating. One less thing to worry about. Turns out eating healthy is pretty damn easy when you don't have to constantly fight against your own body. Story 2. I didn't quit sugar entirely, but I quit drinking soda. It was rough at first, but now if I drink one, it just tastes like syrup. The frustrating part is that I didn't lose a single pound. Story 3. I did a 30-day challenge a long time ago of no sugar, nothing sugary like soda or candy. It was very hard the first few days, but as I got to the end, I could have kept going. Your body stops asking for it. Story 4. I gave up sugar for well over a year, and I started to detect sweetness in things I wouldn't have before, and became more appreciative of subtle sweetness. I did not, on the other hand, find it made any change to my health, skin, or energy levels. I reverted back to using sugar after a bit, but it's still a reduced intake, and I can no longer stand things that are very sweet. That includes fruit that isn't tart. Story 5. I quit added sugar, still ate fruit and raw fruit bars, for 100 days. My digestion improved, but honestly, it was tough and I felt pretty weird, having everyone say, "Well, it's been several months now, you're probably not missing sugar anymore," while in reality, I just wanted some sugar. When I quit this diet, it was really easy to get a bit too addicted to sugar again. Story 6. The biggest change I noticed was in my skin. My complexion cleared up, and I do not get as many breakouts. It was a slow process, but about a month in, I could really see a difference. Story 7. I lost 10 pounds per month without exercising. I now eat a minimal amount of carbohydrates 90% of the time, and I've eliminated inflammation, brain fog, and sluggishness. I will eat this way for the rest of my life. Story 8. Since May 1st, when I went low carb, I'm down over 60 pounds. My skin cleared up. I eat less. My heartburn is gone. Allergies are gone. I sleep better. I wake up easier. I gained 2 optical inches. Story 9. It really is an addiction. It took me a few weeks of effort and low-carb dieting to really break free. But it really changes your life. You just feel so much better. You don't have the hunger pangs, the wildly fluctuating energy. You just feel better overall. Full disclosure. I did this as part of an intermittent fasting program, and after a few months, I was able to have some cookies once in a while. But be warned, it is so easy to fall back into old habits. Story 10. I was hoping for some changes and looking for them, but none. I just have to believe that there are health changes that I can't see. I felt the same way when I quit smoking. Story 11. I once quit sugar by accident just because I had a cavity that stung every time I ate something sugary. I wish I had not finally gotten a filling on it because I stopped craving it and actually lost a lot of weight, considering that my biggest snack vice is my sweet tooth. Story 12. I moved in with my now husband 2 years ago, and he didn't have any sweets in the house. The only sugar was a small Tupperware container that clearly hadn't been used in some time. He grew up in a house where he didn't have birthday cake for the first time until he was 6 at a classmate's party. It was really hard for me to quit cold turkey, so I paced myself. I grew up in a house where if you wanted a snack, you reached for the Oreos. I swapped with healthier alternatives like plain Greek yogurt with a small amount of honey and cinnamon, or adding a small dollop of homemade whipped cream to strawberries, and then reduced and removed it entirely. It was not easy. Once I quit, I noticed fewer headaches. I wasn't thirsty all the time. My hypermobility flare-ups decreased in severity, aching joints, tendon pain, etc. I genuinely felt less like general crap all the time. More energy throughout the day in general. I stopped craving sugar entirely. Everything with sugar now tastes really sweet and gross. Fruit is good, but I also don't reach for it much. But I love oven and pan-roasted broccoli. That's amazing stuff, and now that's like a total treat. I now can't eat Oreos or certain processed chocolate brands. I learned that the hard way when I went to my parents' house for a few days. If I do, I feel seriously physically ill. I lost and then gained some weight, which I attribute to aging and finally giving my body the nutrients it clearly needed. Smoother, clearer skin. Sleeping better because I wasn't feeling like general crap all the time. I crave savory snacks now. We've swapped out for things like hummus and sun chips. Husband lives for mixed nuts and plain berry bowls. On the very rare occasion we do have sweets, special occasions like Thanksgiving or a birthday, they're homemade like brownies, and even then they rarely get finished. They're just too sweet. Moral of the story: do it. It's worth it for your body. Story 13. I hate the fact that absolutely nothing changed, but I know if I were to introduce sugar back into my diet, I would put a ton of weight on. I didn't lose any when I stopped. Story 14. I have cut down on carbohydrates and sugar for the last 2 months, and I can tell a difference. I really noticed the difference when I had 3 bites of a birthday cake. Within the hour, I was wanting to eat anything fried, sugary, or just any unhealthy food I could find. I didn't give in, and the following day I was back to no cravings. I'm eating a lot more fruits, enjoying them, and vegetables, and I feel like I'm in control of food instead of it controlling me. Overall, my mood is better and I feel healthier. Story 15. I didn't change my diet apart from cutting down on sugar significantly, and I started losing weight. I am down 18 pounds over the last year and a half, and my cholesterol is down 50 points. Story 16. I literally cut out any food with more than 3 grams of added sugar per serving and no soda at all, not even diet. The one area I allow sugar is cocktails. Over the first 3 months, the following happened with no other lifestyle changes. Lost 25 pounds. Had more energy. Lost all cravings and desire for sweet food. This took about a week for 95%. No more headaches. Would get a mild one about once per week. Slept a bit better. Blood pressure lowered enough to reduce the dose of medicine. I also had a massive improvement in mental health. After about 2 to 4 weeks, the cravings were gone and were replaced with a sense of ownership, willpower, and determination over my health and body. About 4 months in, I started running and began using Zepbound. I am currently 65 pounds down and a year in, started overall at just over 330, currently about 267. Every once in a while I feel a craving, but it goes away quite quickly. It definitely isn't easy, but with the support of my partner, it has been amazing. Oh, and if you do decide to try it, my one suggestion: there is no such thing as just one. In other words, don't give yourself a pass, no cheating, stick with it. Story 17. I eliminated sweets and carbohydrates. The migraines and withdrawal symptoms lasted 7 to 10 days. I lost 40 pounds in 4 months. I now consume diet sodas, but not excessively, just 1 per week. Best decision ever. Story 18. Probably fewer mood swings. I eat fruit and drink lots of water. I can smell sugar like vanilla and caramel, quite overpowering. You start noticing how much sugar is in food. I can't eat strawberries anymore. Coffee tastes normal. I don't need all these added flavors. Story 19. Sweet things taste way sweeter. I notice sugar in savory foods if I accidentally buy a sauce or go to someone's place for dinner and they use something with sweeteners in it, and it often tastes overly sugary and disgusting. I felt better when I didn't have any major stressors in my life, but the moment anything made me feel pressure and stress, I suddenly found it much more difficult to cope. But that's potentially because I have attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, and in the past, I've used chocolate to give me little dopamine boosts throughout the day when I felt like I needed them to get things done. Story 20. Honest question. How do you realistically cut sugar? It's in everything, even things that you wouldn't register as sweet, like pasta sauces. Do you give yourself a daily number of grams and go by that? Do you purge your pantry and refuse anything that has more than a certain amount of sugar? I want to see about trying this, but have no idea where to start. I cut out soda 5 years ago, and now it tastes like straight acid if I drink it, but I'm not sure how to go completely sugar-free. Story 21. Well, we can start from the biggest to smallest. Lost 102 pounds. Lost diabetes. Lost the gnawing hunger and intense cravings sugar brings. Haven't had a single cavity in over 4 years, whereas I had at least 1 to 2 every 6 months before. My skin and hair look better at 41 than in my 20s. More even moods. No more midnight blood sugar crashes that wake me up and lead to binging. Cons. Looking like a weirdo at a wedding because I can't have the cake they just served me. Being so sensitive to added sugars hidden in non-sugary foods that I basically make everything from scratch, from salad dressing to marinades. An overripe mango is so incredibly sweet my tongue sweats and I can't have more than a slice. Not fun to go out to eat with anymore. I'm the one questioning the server about ingredients and modifying my order. So embarrassing, but less so than the time I broke my tattoo artist's super expensive chair because I was so heavy or cracked about 3 separate toilet seats. Story 22. Fixed my constipation issue that no doctor could figure out, even after a colonoscopy. After the holidays last year, I said I would be limiting my sugar since I had so much extra of it during the holidays. After a couple of weeks, I noticed I was going regularly without much effort. Who knew? Laugh out loud. Story 23. I'm following a diet where I only eat a maximum of 2,000 calories, as is recommended for a woman, which means a lot of sugar has been cut out of my way of eating. I've been doing this for about 2.5 months now. Yesterday, I had a cheat day because I went out for a day shopping with my mother. We had junk food for dinner and allowed ourselves snacks and sodas, basically my old way of eating, because I didn't want to worry about calorie counting while on a fun day out. Today, I feel bad, like physically. I feel sluggish and just plain ick. So yeah, too long. Didn't read. My body doesn't tolerate junk food anymore. Story 24. Lifting of brain fog that had plagued me for years. Improved energy, sleep, and quality of life. I stopped feeling like I was living under the shadow of a mystery illness they just couldn't diagnose. I still eat sugar, just a fraction of what I used to, and it's more incidental and occasional. Story 25. I have a disordered eating history, so I generally cannot do super extreme changes like completely eliminating something. A paradigm that helps is trying to add foods rather than taking them out. Recently, my focus has been gut health and nervous system regulation, so I am eating regularly, getting more fiber and protein, and trying to eat as many different kinds of plants and whole foods as possible. As a result, I am definitely eating less sugar. I still add a tiny bit of stevia or molasses to some hot beverages, and I love dark chocolate and occasionally dried fruit or a homemade mug cake. I think this personally works for me because being able to have sweet things makes them less of an obsession. A lot of stuff just does not taste as good, or messes with my mood or digestive system. I will say I have tried low carb, no sugar many times before, and while I appreciate that it helps some people, it is hell for me. I stuck with it for months, but I never got used to it. My energy and mood were terrible, and I think it was affecting my hormones in a negative way. My skin did not improve, and what weight loss I did achieve was minimal and not worth it. I also dreamt about beans. Story 26. I didn't quit sugar. I quit drinking sugar. Eventually, any kind of desire for it just went away. Replacing soda with water or unsweetened iced tea, no sweetener, can easily cut your calorie intake from 300 to 1,500 calories a day, depending on your soda or energy drink consumption. Soda and energy drink consumers don't realize they're consuming the equivalent of 2 to 3 extra meals a day, but they are, and the ingredients in sodas and energy drinks are unhealthy. I cut out alcohol as well since the morning after isn't worth the buzz, and the calories in alcohol are pretty out of control. In the order I thought of them: 1. Eating out is anywhere from cheaper to way cheaper. $3 to $4 per soda. $13 to $22 for a sugary mixed drink or beer. It's not so much how I feel all the time. It's how I notice I feel when I now eat a bunch of sugar. Really bad. Sugar made me feel bad all the time, so bad became my baseline. Not as tired in general. Better sleep. Hugely reduced stomach and lower gastrointestinal problems. Story 27. Quit sugar and carbohydrates for 2 months, 3 months, and 5 months at different points in the last 2 years, mainly following a carnivore diet. You lose an incredible amount of weight. In the last 2 months, I lost 25 pounds. I'm currently cheating as my birthday is coming up. You gain an incredible amount of natural energy, not from sugar converted to energy, but from stored fats converted to energy. No brain fog in the morning and can run on less sleep than when eating sugars and carbohydrates. When you cheat with sugar, it's incredibly strong, to the point where it makes me physically sick. Story 28. It cleared up much of my congestion and allergies. I could smell for the first time in my life. I never knew bananas had a scent, but I could smell a ripe banana from across the room. The bread aisle smelled amazing. My relationship with food became normal. It was the only point in my life I didn't suffer from binge eating. One day, I fell off the wagon and have only gotten fatter, but it was a good 2 years. For more context, I went on a ketogenic diet and also drastically cut carbohydrates, which was probably also a factor. I lost nearly 40 pounds from 250 and kept it off easily for 2 years. Story 29. I didn't fully quit, just cut down most of it or replaced it with fresh fruit. Lost 10 pounds in a month, which became 25 pounds over about 3 to 4 months. Better sleep. Less pain in my joints during sports due to the weight loss, also faster and more agile of course. Mosquito bites no longer swell or blister. Skin dermatitis and adult acne cleared up. Energy level feels more balanced and sustained. Water tastes really good now. On the flip side, I lost weight too quickly, so my hair has thinned a bit as a result.